As stated in our multi-tiered Systems of Support overview module, RTI, or Response to Intervention, is often viewed as the academic side of the MTSS triangle, whereas PBIS and school mental health fall on the behavioral side of the MTSS triangle. Both sides share the same guiding principles of multi-tiered systems of support. Our goal with this work becomes one of integration, as we know academic problems are not isolated from behavior problems for students. They are intertwined. Therefore, it becomes imperative to look at both sides, or the whole child. The purpose of MTSS is to set all students up for success and prevent problems at school. Prevention and early intervention are the best approaches when working with students and ultimately save time, money, and resources in the long run, making MTSS implementation a compelling investment. There are 4 key components to implementing MTSS. Let's reflect on how these play out in academics. First of all, let's consider how to institute a multi-level prevention system. We structure this work into tiered levels, with core, or Tier 1, instruction being the most crucial piece of the puzzle. The literature suggests that at least 80% of all students can be successful with an effective Tier 1. Therefore, as educators, we must commit to supporting all students in all content areas. We can strengthen our core instruction by maximizing student engagement, teaching explicitly, and providing multiple opportunities to practice success with high rates of positive teacher acknowledgement. We must remember that we cannot intervene ourselves out of an ineffective core instruction. So we want to ensure that our core is strong, that at least 80% of all students are responding or learning successfully. The next level of the prevention system is Tier 2. For students who need something more, Tier 2 supports are provided in addition to high-quality, evidence-based classroom instruction. Although Tier 2 instruction looks a bit different in every school, it typically includes academic support provided in small groups, interventions that are provided 3 to 5 times per week, frequent progress monitoring, and interventions that last 9 to 12 weeks. Tier 2 instruction is more resource intensive because it requires that individual students receive additional supports, have clear goals, and are monitored more frequently. This Tier 2 level of academic intervention support is expected to meet the needs of 10 to 15% of all students. When I think of Tier 2, I often think that it is for students who need something more. But for those students who do not make sufficient progress in Tier 2 with an evidence-based intervention, they will move to a more intensive tier of instruction, Tier 3. A Tier 3 level of academic support will likely be needed for approximately 3 to 5% of all students. Tier 3 intervention is the most intensive as it frequently involves smaller group sizes with more individualized instruction. So remember, key words when considering Tier 3 are intensive and individualized. In Tier 3, student progress is typically monitored even more frequently, and the specific interventions that are chosen often require additional training. When I think of Tier 3, I often think it is not just something more, but it's something different. So how do schools identify which students need which levels of intervention? A critical component of MTSS for academics is the use of a universal screener. If you consider a medical model of intervention, doctors typically start with common screening measures when you come into the office, like taking your temperature or taking your blood pressure. This is similar to a universal screening taking place at school. A universal academic screening involves assessing each student through a structured process to gain information about their literacy and math skills, and to see how well they are responding to core instruction. This information is then used to make data-based decisions, which is the next essential element of MTSS. Teams of educators come together and analyze student data to make decisions about school-wide systems. Ideally, this team would address both academic and behavioral systems. These database decisions may include identifying areas for needed evidence-based practices, professional learning, changes in the master schedule, decisions about hiring, or even curricula purchases. Another fundamental component of MTSS is the ongoing progress monitoring of students. The days of just hoping that our instruction is working are over. We want to focus not just on our teaching, but on student learning. We now have educators who are skilled in analyzing the effectiveness of their instruction and then collaborating with their peers to determine what changes in instruction may need to be made, all with the goal of utilizing evidence-based practices to bring success to every student. As you review the content in each tier of instruction, you will find tutorials relating to the following areas: assessment, effective instructional strategies, database decision-making, fidelity, and more. Here at Kentucky Abry, we look forward to supporting you on this journey.